أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamu alaikum. I happen to be Shahzad Khan. With me, I'm really lucky that I've been joined by Miss Eesha, Rehan, and for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, day in, day out, Pakistan television has made sure that that we are going to share all of that responsible journalism that we have been making effort for, and it's a dream work. But not just that. I think what I'm going to share now with our audiences and people in 46 different countries, because we reach out to 46 different countries through the airwaves of Pakistan television. I woke up very peacefully at my home, shukar alhamdulillah, and then had a great breakfast. It was raining outside, the weather was fantastic, made my way towards my work, and it looked like as if there was no khauf or haras for Pakistan or Pakistani people, because let me be very honest and very clear and blunt with my words. Pakistan, if Pakistan army is battle hardened, Pakistani nation is battle hardened as well. And it's not anything new for Pakistan. We have our generations, we go back in decades, our generations have been living with all of this, and we will continue to live with all of this as well, even if India tries furthermore to kind of make sure that they get reaction from Pakistan. But there are two mistakes that they have made. Now imagine, I'm going to not take you back to 1965 or 71 or Kargil. I'm going to take you back to 2019, where they made a mistake. How, our skipper Mohammad Rizwan actually said, either you win or either you learn. So unfortunately, because they can never win, the only thing that they are doing is that they are learning. Now, how are they learning? In 2019, what they did was, they're like, okay, Abhinandan, you go to Pakistan airspace, come back, and, we'll get the trophy and we'll get all the pride and whatnot, and the international media will be like, oh, India has done that. I think, I'm sorry, that's where they learned their first lesson, that next time we do not have to send any of our aircraft and our pilots into Pakistan's airspace. That's first. They learned it very well. Now what happened in 2025? They're like, okay, what we need to do is we need to stay within our own boundaries and make sure that we target Pakistan. That couldn't actually happen for them. I think that's where it's getting depressing for the Indian government. Okay, what to do about Pakistan? Now imagine that, there 5 of the jets were downed by Pakistan Air Force. And alhamdulillah, the might of Pakistan Army or armed forces or the preparedness of the Pakistan armed forces is such कि उनको वहां पे उनकी नानी का दूध याद करा दिया. And I think that's exactly something which we were supposed to do. Now they're like, okay, we do not have anything in our hands. What are we supposed to do? They're like, okay, send drones, and then Pakistani people will be scared. Oh my God, what's happening? But nothing's happening. I had a great, fantastic breakfast with my family. Alhamdulillah. Shukar alhamdulillah. Came to my office. It was raining. It was beautiful Islamabad. And everything is at normal. We're doing our businesses. We are making sure that everyday life is as perfect as it was even before the tensions or the friction rised in between Pakistan and India. But not just that. I think I'm going to contribute over here where how the Information Minister Ataullah Tarar has strongly rejected India's narrative and how he has rejected all claims of shooting down Pakistani F-16 and GF-17 fighter jets, calling them absurd and false. Says such false claims only reflect India's growing desperation in the face of repeated military setbacks. Now, I will continue with this because we do know now for a fact that how, more than 8,000 X accounts have been banned by X, and how they are trying to do government censorship. But the people of India are not stupid. They will know what Pakistan is doing. And Pakistan will certainly strike back at the time and place of our own choosing. इस बारे में किसी को कोई दूसरी दोहराए नहीं होनी चाहिए. पाकिस्तान ऐसा मारेगा कि आपकी सारी मांगे जो है वो सिंदूर से भरी रहेंगी इंशाल्लाह आने वाले वक्त में. Even though I would want to be a sane voice, but what you have done, you will certainly have to pay for that, for the blood of the martyred people of Pakistan. But ladies and gentlemen, to kind of build up more on this, I'm really lucky that I've been joined by a senior journalist who happens to be Mr. Abbas. He's over here inside the studios with us. Assalamu alaikum. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you very much. I see happily office, and I was seeing people going to their work, and there is peace, calm. There's no panic in the city.
Exactly, and Amir, I think that's exactly what I would want to now kind of ask from you. Now, let's move back to what has happened yesterday. I've told them, that they're trying to learn over and over again from Pakistan military, Pakistan armed forces, and the strategies, how they are actually wanting a reaction to come out. Now imagine that Pakistan has actually downed more than 30 or 25 to 30 drones of India. What are they trying to do now by sending in drones? Because they've learned a message कि अब जहाज भी नहीं भेजना, पायलट भी नहीं भेजना, अब क्या भेजें, अब ऐसा करते हैं ड्रोन भेज देते हैं जी.
Well, I think they are really frustrated because India wanted to inflict pain upon Pakistan and they miscalculated as they did in 2019. I think Pakistan has capacity and capability to respond back, and we didn't do anything. We just defended our land and defended well. We responded well, and we always advocated for peace and stability in the region. I think Indian internal political problems are very high right now. The Modi regime is trying to impose a Hitler-type fascist system within India, excluding 50% of population, 20% Muslims, 20% Dalits, and the other 10% minorities. So if you exclude 50% population for a very sinister agenda, you are going to lose. I think Indian internal stability is at stake right now, and they are frustrated and trying to put everything, any possibility they will be using to raise anti-Pakistan slogans, but that didn't work at all.
Exactly, that's true as well. I think I'm going to further build up on it as well. You know how there have been false accusations about Pakistan F-16 or F-17 being downed in India. Not just that, they've been trying to tell the international media that look at us. Pakistan have attacked in Amritsar, and looks like as if unko chhati ka doodh yaad aa gaya.
Yes, I think they are just simply frustrated, and the narrative they are trying to build was to say that we are defeating Pakistan and we are the regional power, but that has gone down. I mean, their narrative has been completely broken by the fact that their miscalculated moves have always created a lot of problems for them. So now public pressure is there, and those who were instigating Indian public with an anti-Pakistan slogan is hitting back them, and that's the reason they're trying to ban every objective analysis that should come from outside to understand the situation.
Exactly.
So the India being the regional claims to be the regional power, but that very arrogance of India has gone down with this fact that they have been beaten by Pakistan without entering into their territory even.
Exactly. Amir bhai, thank you so much for stating straight facts or spitting straight facts out in the face of India. As of Lieutenant General retired Talat Masood Saab is actually joining us as well. So Talat Saab, assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for joining us.
Ji, walaikum assalam ji.
Sir, thank you so much for your time. First things first, sir. We've been sharing as of today. We see how the government imposed censorship is taking place. They have banned more than 8,000 accounts from Pakistan at X as well. But sir, how do you see that Indian media is actually trying to propagate false propaganda on international media, saying that Pakistan has attacked Amritsar or we have downed their jets and whatnot? How do you see all of this coming?
Well, I think one should have expected from a government of India, and the Indian governments have always lying, giving false information, trying to hoodwink the international community and their own people. This is something not strange for us, but today in this present world of ours, it's not easy to deceive people. They know everything. For instance, I mean, in India, it is not only the Indians who are watching, it is everyone who is interested in the region and in peace and stability in this sector. So I think it is impossible for India to hoodwink anyone.
Sir, I'm really sorry to interject. There's been a breaking news which I need to share with my audiences as well. Ladies and gentlemen, for everybody who's tuned into PTV World right now, news just in: 6 Israeli-made Indian drones destroyed in Bihari, Pakpatan and Ukhara. News just in: 6 Israeli-made Indian drones destroyed in Bihari, Pakpatan and Ukhara. One of the 6 drones was destroyed in Bihari, one in Pakpatan, while 4 drones were destroyed in Ukhara. A total of 35 enemy drones have been destroyed so far. All drones were being continuously monitored on radar, says the DG ISPR. Our air defense system has such a capability that it tracks even small drones, says the DG ISPR. 6 Israeli-made Indian drones destroyed in Bihari, Pakpatan and Ukhara. Our special correspondent, Mr. Raza Khan, is with us. Raza, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, Shahzad.
Raza, now I do believe that, it looks like as if we are in some sort of virtual reality where we're playing a game and we keep on hitting India where it hurts the most.
Yes, Shahzad, ever since the dastardly attack on Pakistan by India in the early hours of 7th of April, we have seen that Pakistan's armed forces, be that Pakistan Army or Pakistan Air Force, they have gone on retaliation mode, and they have retaliated with fire and fervor, and they have repelled India's aggression. And because it lost five of its aircrafts that night, three Rafales, one Su-30, one MiG-29 at the hands of PF. So it took its Air Force away from the front line and started using drones against various cities of Pakistan. And the recent update is that six Israeli-made Indian drones were destroyed in Bihari, Pakpatan, and Okada. Out of six, one drone was destroyed in Bihari, one in Pakpatan, and four drones were destroyed in Okada. So in total, 35 enemy drones have been destroyed so far. All drones were being continuously monitored on radar by Pakistan Army and Pakistan Air Force. Whenever a drone comes, it is continuously seen on radar. Our air defense system has such a capability that it tracks even small drones. There is an operational procedure to shoot down drones in urban areas and in the presence of commercial flights. Pakistan's defense and air defense systems are constantly thwarting enemy attacks. Tracking of such drones, the Israeli-made Harop drone, shows that Pakistan's defense and air defense systems are very strong, and Pakistan will continue to bring down these drones and thwart
Raza, we
the
will continue to bring
attacks.
them down, no matter what. But thank you so much, Raza, for being with us, and thank you so much for the updates as well. I'm going to go back to Lieutenant General retired Talat Masood Saab over here. So, Talat Saab, how do you see this? Now, imagine that now they've learned a lesson in 2019 where not to send their aircrafts into Pakistan airspace. Now they learned it that okay, even if their aircrafts, the Indian aircrafts are going to be within their airspace, Pakistan Air Force have got the capability to shoot them down. Now, sir, there are two things which I would want to discuss with you, and that is that, this is the French media agency which says that Indian military is underprepared, number one, and number two, we have seen how Ajay Deval has actually been calling multiple countries to kind of probe in and de-escalate the situation.
Well, I think the situation needs to be, of course, de-escalated. But the point is that it is India which is supposed to be responsible for escalating the situation, for creating and suppressing the people of Kashmir and creating all sorts of problems, not only for Kashmiris, but also for Pakistan. And Pakistan, I think, has stood firm and is resolute, and its people are resolute, and the people of Kashmir fully support Pakistan's position. So I think Pakistan is in a strong position, and it has the backing of its people. It is on the right course, and it is justified. And I think India continues to sort of realize all that, but at the same time, it wants to forcibly keep its presence and occupy Kashmir and try to impose its writ on the people, which is totally unacceptable. So I think this situation continues, and the relationship between Pakistan and India will remain extremely hostile, and there is always a chance of it sort of aggravating. And no wonder Pakistan has taken all precautions, and India knows that if it does aggravate, what are the consequences? So I think we have to remain prepared, because the occupation of Kashmir will always.
Sir, sir, we'll come back to you, sir, over here. I'm going to move on to Amir Bhai over here. So, Amir Bhai, now I think there's a very important question, and the most important question over here is that for India to learn their lesson, and now sending in drones and then fake news being propagated all over Bharat's media or the Indian fascist regime or the BJPized India. how do you see? Do you think that they're trying to get a reaction from our armed forces strategically, and for us to kind of wait and look for a place and time of our own choosing to kind of go and strike them in a way where our DGISPR has said कि फिर सबको आवाज भी आएगी और फिर रंग भी नजर आएगा?
Yeah, definitely, because you see, international law allows us to respond to a aggression that is coming from India. But we have kept restraint, and Pakistan has been able to give out a diplomatic message to the world that we are peaceful and we will only defend our land whenever it comes to. But however, if India continues to do aggression, Pakistan reserves the right to hit back and hit back very severely, and we have capability to do that. And already Pakistan armed forces have demonstrated the fact that Pakistan will never remain idle when there is a question of aggression coming from India. So I think it is going to be a tough call for India, and because the Indian designs were failed, they wanted to traumatize Pakistan, they wanted to harass, and they wanted to do the fear mongering, which they have failed completely. And now they are controlling the media, not to letting people not to know about the actual situation that is on the ground. International media is also saying this, that Indian capacity has been at question. As you said, the French, the France, which has provided them Rafale, are also disappointed with the performance of Indian Air Force. So I think this is a big pressure mounting on India.
And it's because of the fact that it's for the very first time that Rafale jets have been downed in a military activity, which is why they're upset with them as well. And they're saying that Indian military is underprepared, and it's all over the media. I don't think that anybody has to propagate more about it. I think my Wadi team member Eesha has got us a very valid question for you, so I'm going to allow her to kind of ask whatever she wants to. Eesha, please go ahead.
Yeah, so we know that the Modi regime has been using Indian media to create false propaganda, to create false images, and it has include fifth generation warfare, including fake images, digital censorship, and media manipulation. So how can Pakistan respond to this? The Indian media has been manufacturing this war since a long time. So how can the Pakistani media be prepared for this and give them a befitting response?
Well, I think Indian media has always been doing this. If you follow Indian media for the last 1 or 2 decades, in particular with the onslaught of this BJP type fascist regime, I think the only way Pakistan can respond with responsibility is that Pakistani media channels, they have, if you look at the international analysis and look at Pakistan media and India, if you do comparison, you will see that Pakistani media is more into objective analysis, advocating for peace, for regional stability and all that. As far as the Indian propaganda is concerned, sometimes you start lying all the time. The lies become trying to create truth out of lies and pack up lies, which is not working actually, because there has to be some fact behind any propaganda. This propaganda, which is completely hollow, and now you see that there are voices coming out from India even, saying that, for example, from Indian Punjab, people are saying that we will not go for war against Pakistan. There are many voices that are coming from India, and they understand that this kind of propaganda, this kind of fake up lies that India is trying to separate across is not working. So I think we don't have to do much. We have to wait and see. We have to show our commitment, resilience, and always narrate the fact and trying to preach for the regional stability and peace and harmony in the region.
Exactly. And thank you so much for highlighting that. Another integral thing that Shahzad was discussing is how India wants Pakistan to be in a state of terror. They want our kids to drop out of their schools, for our economy to go down, and for us to stop living our lives. They conducted the drone strike attack 2 nights ago, and they claimed that it was done at terrorist camps, at so-called terrorist camps. However, we know for a fact it was targeted at civilian areas. People's homes were targeted, mosques were targeted, and innocent civilians lost their lives. And similarly, we see how they carried out strikes today and yesterday in Pakistan in major cities, major populated cities like Rawalpindi, Lahore.
They tried.
Yeah, they tried, and we brought them down. So what does this reflect on what India is trying to do?
This is complete hysteria. You see, India is not able to target our military installation because they know that there will be a strong reaction. Whatever they are trying to do, they are putting their drones into Pakistani land, which is not working. again, if you look at this particular episode, Pakistan, without entering into their territory, they have destroyed their military bases in Indian occupied Kashmir, and also Pakistan has the capacity and they have shown the resilience, the willingness to defend, but also to respond timely and with proportionate action. I think this shows the frustration. If India is targeting the civilian population in Pakistan, India is doing so in Kashmir as well. The Indian occupied Kashmir, they are killing innocent Kashmiris all the time. So this is not a new game for them. And when you are a fascist regime, you want to build politics on human bodies, then this doesn't make any difference for them.
And Amir Sahab, I think you've hit the nail on the head, and that's exactly what India has always been doing. They've always made sure that that they kind of get into news for all the wrong reasons first of all, and then there's political gain. And whenever BJP in particular, whenever they want to win an election, they have to look towards Pakistan. हम पाकिस्तान के साथ कोई ऐसा पंगा करें, तो पाकिस्तान ने हमेशा इनको चपेड़े ही मारी मुंह पे. But in response to, I think I need to mention this over here, where people now of Pakistan and the international media now know how Pakistan has given them a befitting response and will continue to do so. I think people of Pakistan really need to know this as well, that in response to unprovoked Indian aggression, the Pakistan army launched a powerful counterattack in the Pardu sector, destroying an Indian battalion. Now, I think what we really need to kind of establish over here is the might that Pakistani armed forces and the preparedness that they've always kind of made sure that we are ready. Hum har waqt taiyar hain, and that's exactly how we see it as well. But sir, Amir Sahab, the only question stands over here is, are they trying to get a reaction out of our armed forces?
They are trying their best to do that, but because they have seen the diplomatic failures at international level, and they want to demonstrate that Pakistan will react, and when Pakistan will react, we have a justification to do another diplomatic onslaught at global level. But I think Pakistan is exercising restraint and acting responsibly. However, we have a legal, strong point now. International law, the UN Charter allow us to respond proportionate to what India has already done. But still, Pakistan, without doing much, is winning the war.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Amir Sahab, for the lovely conversation. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. We're actually heading out towards a short news break, and then we'll be right back, and I think we really need to establish over here that from here onwards, what sort of strategy, if we are not giving a reaction, I think that's great as well. But what strategy is Pakistan Armed Forces? I don't know if operationally we can discuss it or not, but as much as I can, we'll certainly try to do that. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. News just in. Pakistan Army destroys 2 more Indian posts on line of control. Pakistan Army destroys Indian Army's ring control post in Hajipir sector. Pakistan Army has destroyed several enemy posts before. Indian Army is suffering heavy losses due to the destruction of these posts. And in the recent past, we have seen how they have been hoisting white flags because they cannot certainly fight with the most prepared military of Pakistan. Pakistan Army destroys 2 more Indian posts on line of control. Pakistan Army destroys Indian Army's ring control post in Hajipir sector. Pakistan Army also destroys enemy's Pokhara mortar Buxar post. Pakistan Army has destroyed several enemy posts before. Indian Army is suffering heavy losses due to the destruction of these posts. Pakistan Zindabad, Pak Fauj, Paindabad. Pakistan Army has destroyed several enemy posts before. Pakistan Army has made sure that they are going to take them to the cleaners, and that's exactly what's been happening for all these previous days. And even today, news just in, Pakistan Army destroys 2 more Indian posts on the line of control. We will be updating you with all the recent updates as soon as they reach us as well. And Pakistan Television, the entire team is made up with responsible journalism. Not just that, I think we really need to touch base with all the basics now. And to kind of answer all my queries, I'm really lucky that I've been joined by the Director ISSI, happens to be Dr. Talat Shabir. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful to have you over here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Sir, now I think the point of conversation needs to be because we do see how India has always been an aggressor against Pakistan, number one. Number two, do you think that, that without any specific evidence that the claims are being made by the fascist Indian regime, because it looks like as if Modi, not just physically but mentally, is not doing well?
Thank you very much for having me on this very important occasion. First of all, I think we need to understand the pattern of how India has been behaving for the last couple of years. They create a situation like false flag operation. They try some media gains on that. They do a military venture. Then they go try to internationalize the issue. Then they try to claim victimhood. And of course, then they create a situation where the world community is also involved. So this is the pattern that has been followed by India for the last couple of years. Now, the world is very clear that this false flag operation is a false flag operation from all standards and from all angles. So coming to Pahalgam incident, when we see the world community was not actually buying what they were telling them. And it was something that happened, and India tried to gain over it and try to claim victimhood, but they couldn't. Then came their air attack, and then followed by the drone attack. Now this is something that India actually now try to create a pattern. So I think now Indians realize that their narrative is not being bought by the world community, and they are in serious problems with regard to international media, and their narrative is it appears to everybody as a fake narrative, and they just try to create a situation.
Talal Sahab, this is too obvious, and it's because of the fact that imagine that government is their fascist regime's government is actually indulged in government censorship, and how 8,000 X accounts have been actually blocked. But sir, I think what the world needs to know, because alhamdulillah we go out in 46 different countries as well, is how they're trying to gain something out of it. So with all of this escalation and friction, we have seen, and you have mentioned about this as well, that in the past they've done it for their political gains. Now if we see India aggressing against Pakistan and Pakistan giving them a befitting reply, what benefit do you think that they're seeking out of this aggression?
No, actually, what I said was that they try to behave in a pattern, and they think that at least domestically they can play up on this, to just win election or to win support against their opponents, political opponents in India. But if you could sell successfully, then it will be possible. For example, I just give you example of Indian media. I think if any sane person is watching Indian media at the moment, it's just rubbish. You just see how they, who would buy that stupid narrative, and they try to spread all over the world in a very, in a manner which is not even meets the normal journalistic standards. So I don't think so that India would be able to sell this time the narrative of Pakistan-centric narrative in India, domestically, as well as across the world, because people, the investigative reporting and the international media is also, this time very cautious, as in the news also we've seen that various international media has covered this incident, and they're covering these developments, but they are very, suspicious of what India is doing at the moment.
Exactly. Now, sir, I think the most important aspect is where how, they wanted to show the rest of the world that, that we are trying to target, the terrorist hideouts and whatnot, which alhamdulillah we have taken, all our international media correspondents and national media correspondents to the same places as well for them to see. I think that the world knows. Do you think, sir, that this actually kind of highlights the domestic failure or unrest within India?
Of course, it's very easy, to bash Pakistan or go on Pakistan and create situation where Pakistan is discussed in the country, concealing definitely the failures of governance and various issues that India is facing. Not only in Kashmir but inside India. they are trying to suppress minorities. They are actually trying to increase influence of RSS, Hindutva ideology in entire India. They have opposition also in India with regard to their ideology, and I think Modi government will have tough time. There are sane voices also in India who are telling him that, look, this is not the way that you run the country. It's not Muslim or Christian or other religions or minorities living in India. You're trying to annoy all the minorities in India. It's not just specifically to Muslims. I think there are sane voices in India also which are objecting on what he is doing. Definitely, international media is also covering some of the aspects that Modi government is trying to highlight or trying to project as part of their agenda. But my sense is that they will not be able to succeed in this because
obviously
everything looks very fake. On face of it looks very fake.
Exactly. And sir, I'm just going to add on over here that the government of Pakistan categorically rejects the baseless and irresponsible allegation propagated by the Indian media accusing Pakistan of launching attacks on Pathankot, Jaisalmer and Srinagar. These claims are entirely unfounded, politically motivated and part of a reckless propaganda campaign aimed at maligning Pakistan. Now, sir, I think what we really need to kind of share with our audiences over here is, because you have spoken that there are sane voices in the India, and if people are watching us in Bharat, they really need to kind of ask their government this question: what concrete, independent, verified evidence exists for the claims of the aggression that we see? Because Alhamdulillah, Pakistan is all prepared. You have seen our military might. We have downed their jets. We have made sure that not to give a reaction at the time of their choosing, but rather at the time and place of our choosing. How do you see for them to build an international narrative which is not even bought by international audiences?
So first of all, we need to focus on one important thing. Something happens in your country. So if you're fair and you're just and you're right and you're truthful, so you should actually invite international investigation. There are institutions, international, and of course there are institutions which have, a lot of Indian inclinations also in the world. So why should a country be shy of independent investigations on such a big thing? So Pakistan, right from the beginning, asked for very transparent and just investigation of what has happened in Pahalgam.
Exactly.
So why should India shy away from these investigations? It's very clear. They don't want anybody else to come and see for themselves on ground that, this was all fake and lies.
Exactly. Thank you so much, sir, for saying that, because I think that the next array of questions needs to be on this line as well. I'm going to introduce Major General retired Raza Muhammad Sahab, who happens to be a former ambassador. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
Walaikum salam. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Sir, now there's one basic question, and that is that who stands to gain politically or militarily from stoking tensions right now?
Thank you so much for the question. Actually, if you see, I think the major is the international community's reaction and international media's reactions and actions. Right, starting from the United States, China, UK, Australia, UAE, KSA, Qatar, Iran, Afghanistan, everyone is now saying stand down, and they do not want this escalation to go high. Number two, most important thing is that none of the countries, whether big or small, has bought the narrative of Mr. Modi or the Indian government's narrative that Pahalgam attack was orchestrated or done or planned by Pakistan. So this is a big win when it comes to the international community. Within country, you know it already, the whole nation is together. All the political parties are together. All the segments of the society are together. Our media is doing a wonderful job. So I would say that internationally and in repute, Pakistan has gained. You must have seen the articles of the different newspapers, including Le Monde, which is a French newspaper, that Pakistan has gained an edge, and Rafales of France supplied to India have been downed by the Pakistan Air Force. Pakistan Air Force is very skillful. Pakistan Army, Pakistani people, we are hardened people. And we are undergoing this war on terror for last over 20 years. And Pakistan is unstable and is facing the security situation on its borders right from the 1989's invasion of Afghanistan. So, Alhamdulillah, we stand to gain internationally and as well as regionally. Everyone knows Pakistan is a responsible country. Pakistan has behaved very responsibly. And why Pakistan is not acting, it is frustrating Indians. And in this frustration, they are committing multiple mistakes, like yesterday, day before yesterday. They claim that Pakistan has attacked in their country at 15 places. It is 20th century, as DGISPR showed yesterday the videos of tracking of the missiles or the rockets and also tracking of the drones. So Pakistan is fully capable, and in today's world, you cannot befool anyone. You cannot actually deceive anyone. Everything is crystal clear. Whether you blame some country or you don't blame, everything is visible and any side can see it. So therefore, I would come back again about the repute and about the international environment. Pakistan has gained diplomatically. Pakistan has gained in repute, and none of the countries of international community has accepted the claim of
And
Modi government that
And
Pahalgam
Sahib,
was
that's exactly what I would want to kind of build upon now next. Now, Alhamdulillah, for you to have served one of the best armed forces in the world, that's obviously is there. But you have been at the diplomatic front as well because you are a former ambassador. Now we do see how there Ajay Devil actually was trying to get in touch with US, UK, European countries as well to kind of come in and play a role where the de-escalation starts to take place. But what avenues, what diplomatic avenues now India is trying to go and explore for themselves, because they have seen Pakistan's military's might and the response that we have given, which was befitting, nothing short of befitting.
I think for them, biggest route, diplomatic inroad is the United States of America. As we all know, that they have become the strategic partner of United States in containment of China. So this is not a small thing when it comes to India, Pakistan. It is straight away actually catapulted to the highest rung of the diplomacy and highest rung of the alliances. Uh, India being an ally, India being a net security provider, India being a strategic partner of United States of America in China containment, has that standing, and is why it is kind of arrogant and is not listening to anyone. But now their recourse is that they will start with the United States and allies, all the allies. They are partners in the Quad. They are partners in the IU2U2. They are partners in the so-called IMAC, which is still at the MOU stage. So they will try all the avenues. Some avenues may be visible, some avenues may not be visible to us. But they will try all the avenues because they have faced an embarrassment actually. They have suffered defeat, they have suffered embarrassment, and that is why they are not picking up courage to fly their aircrafts and especially the Rafales into air and come and attack Pakistan. So they are trying to seek, and they will be in contact with multiple people, and there are so many other countries which are in contact with Pakistan and India at the same time. May it be United Kingdom, may it be the United States of America and other countries. So
Exactly, sir.
the last, sorry, the
Sir,
last
sir,
point
I'm
which I
just going to
would
request you to please stay with me. I have another guest away in the studio, so I'm going to
yeah,
refer a
please.
question to him as well. So Tala Sahab, coming back to you now, what I would want you to kind of shed some light on how, Indian media outlets is actually inflaming passion, by instilling fake news, by propaganda. How do you think that it will actually come out? Because the civilian reaction is yet to come out from the, Bharat side as well, where how the people are actually kept into a place where there's no correct information, or the real journalism reaches out to them, so it looks like as if the entire Indian population is actually kept under a siege as well by not sharing the correct information, and false accusations coming in and out and inflaming passion of war hysteria into the Indian population.
you were just referring to, Jalan Sahab was also referring to DGISPR's conference. When he talks with videos, he talks with figures, he talks with data. So no, that is how you actually explain the war situation. That is what a military spokesperson should be doing it, or maybe foreign office representative should be doing it. Now, I was surprised to see not only social media in India but also the mainstream media saw how they were actually fed with the fake news. Not only social media, because social media has a lot of independence and they have a lot of freedom to create fake news, but the mainstream media also runs the news which does not have anything to do with the realities. So I think this is also I think will be creating a problem, kind of problem with regard to creating a right narrative for India. Because if you feed a lot of fake news in social media, or a lot of fake news in your mainstream media, so it's not going to work. Jalan Sahab has also mentioned that it's 20th century. You can't just befool people. People they have resources, and the entire world is actually focused on this region. So how can you fool people that we have done this and we have done this with Pakistan? It's not just possible. Whatever will happen, you will listen to it, you will watch it with your eyes, and it's going to be very, very real. I don't think so in 3, 4, 5 days, coming next 3, 4, 5 days, you will have clarity of everything. So I think this creation of fake news in India, in social media as well as in the mainstream media, will be very counterproductive, and it is becoming counterproductive increasingly.
Exactly, and they're trying to shun voices as well, and the voices which actually speak about honesty, with the voices which actually shares with them the real facts as well, where how Pakistan armed forces, military, navy and air force has actually shown their might and capability. I'm going to revert back to Jannah Sahab over here. So Jannah Sahab, now the question stands, we have seen how they've made a grief mistake of, first of all, sending their drones, which Pakistan military have been making sure that they down them. So more than 35 drones have been downed, and that too are Israel origin drones. Now, sir, what we really need to ask over here is, what is the next discourse for I know that it's going to be a bit of operational information which we might not want to give away on television, but is India now trying for our armed forces to react abruptly so that they can take advantage of it?
Wonderful question. First of all, I'll address the last point which you gave. Actually, Pakistan is playing it very cool, and in operation strategy, if you are playing cool and you are waiting for the right moment, it frustrates the enemy, which is impatient. India has become impatient in last 3 days, and in this impatience, they are committing various mistakes. And one of the mistakes, you may say, one of the options, you may say, they have resorted to the employment of their drones. And drones, also those drones which are supplied by Israel, and perhaps being operated also by the Israel, because their problem is the use of technology also. They are not experienced on this as they are not experienced on the Rafales. I've heard a news, I am not very sure, it is not confirmed, that perhaps a company has told them not to fly the Rafales because their pilots are inexperienced. Now, coming over to the drones, why they have used the drones. As I said earlier, they used initially their pride, so to say Indian Air Force's pride, the Rafales. For the first 2 times, they could not come in Pakistan because their systems were jammed by Pakistan. They were blinded and they had to run back. Second time, they tried to engage, but they engaged the Pakistani territory 50 kilometers, staying inside India. So 50 kilometers standoff was there. Pakistan neutralized again with the standoff, because Pakistan's PL-15 are outranging and outgunning their missiles, which they are carrying. Their Rafales are carrying the Meteor. So they resorted to then drones because of 2 things. Number one, that they did not want to risk again their pilots and their aircrafts against Pakistan Air Force skills and combat hardiness. And second thing is that they use these drones for the psychological warfare. When you send too many drones, for example, you very aptly said that 35 of the drones have been neutralized by or downed by Pakistan. They use these drones because they are less expensive, not very less expensive. Every drone costs about $7 million, or operational. When we talk of the operations, it will cost more. But they used it in between that they wanted to avoid to send their aircrafts and they wanted to use these drones. So they have used these. It has tested their technology. It has tested their tactics also. Future, as you said.
Exactly.
I think
Exactly.
number one. Yes, you said that what is the future possibility?
Sir.
Future possibility number one is that Pakistan is very well prepared. Pakistan is frustrating them. Pakistan is thwarting their responses. And Pakistan is very well prepared to go for the strikes of its time and choosing. But at the same time, I would like to say that Pakistan is not a war-seeking country. Pakistan is not warmonger. Pakistan is a very, very balanced and experienced country. It is in the state of war for long, as I said earlier. And secondly, Pakistan does not want that the situation should escalate, because when escalation between two nuclear armed states takes place, no one can control it then, because it takes one to start and many to stop the war. Or where does it reach? No one knows. So there is always a danger that a war between Pakistan and India, if it really starts, because it is the beginning, uh, perhaps it is the initial stages, and if it comes to all-out war, it is going to be very devastating, number one, and very uncertain also, that you never know where does it reach, and if it hurts Pakistan or if it hurts India. So both countries are nuclear states, so it could go to the dangerous dimension.
Exactly.
But future, that India will continue to
Exactly, sir. Sir, I'm really sorry that I'll have to interject, but there's been a breaking news as well, which we need to share with our audiences. And for people who are out there, ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan Army destroys 2 more Indian posts on the line of control. Pakistan Army destroys Indian Army ring control post in Haji Peace sector. And Pakistan Army also destroys enemies Pokhran, Botar, Bhaksar post. Now, I think just to quickly wrap it up, our guests are going to be with us as well, and our other team members are going to take over. I'm just going to quickly wrap it up for everybody who's out there. Ladies and gentlemen, the 22nd of the last month, the Pahalgam false flag operation takes place. Next to that, we do see how Raw's leaked document is available on Telegram, which says how they will operationalize their media against Pakistan and blame Pakistan. Pakistan asking for a neutral probe, and they or them, for their political gain, avoiding it because of the fact that they wanted their, all of those people to kind of be in the sentiment where they could actually come and vote for the BJP government. Not just that, Pakistan then downed 5 of their jets. In addition to this, because they had to, they were all panicking over there, and since Modi is not physically or mentally perfect, I do believe so as well, what they have been doing is that Pakistan Army then destroying Indian posts. Indian posts have been waving white flags, saying that let us at least pick up the bodies of our soldiers. Not just that, I think this shows the might and the preparedness of Pakistan military, and inshallah in days to come, we will tell them at the time of our choosing and place of our choosing ke maang mein sindoor bhara kaise jata hai. We're going for a short break, don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
News to your screens right now. Pakistan Army is giving a befitting reply to the enemy aggression as the skirmish enters in its front steps now, where we are witnessing India first violating the Pakistani airspace, and now the response. After being defeated on LOC, cowardly Indian Army started firing on civilian areas. The first round of aggression conducted by the Indian Army was also on civilian infrastructure, where mosques and madrasas were destroyed and infants were hurt and killed. Now, panicked Indian Army targets civilian population, and what we are right now witnessing is in Hijra area, the forward Kahuta area, and Kohiratta area. Now, these are the posts that are under Pakistan Army's supervision. Now, the Pakistan Army is eyeing these posts right now from where aggression is being conducted onto civilian infrastructure. 5 civilians martyred and 7 injured in unprovoked firing by the Indian Army. Indian Army is continuing on with its inhumane acts. As we bring you this news to your screens, Indian Army is using heavy weapons on civilian populations. These are the people who have nothing to do with the conflict, and these are the people who are facing the brunt of Modi's sick politics and the way that he always pumps up a drama for political gain every time an election is in view. Currently, the Bihar elections that are supposed to take place in the coming months are right now under Modi's eye, where he wants the Hindutva crowd to be voting for him, and that is why creating this drama by first killing his own people in Pahalgam and then blaming Pakistan for it, and then moving forward with military aggression. Panicked Indian Army has targeted civilian population in Hysteria. And as we are continuing on with this transmission where we are bringing you updates, we have our guests online with us as well as in our studios with us. In our studios, joining us, Dr. Talit Shabir, Director ISSI, and as we all know that Shahzad Khan earlier was in conversation with Major General retired Raza Muhammad. He is a former ambassador, and we were talking about military might. I'm Muzammil Ali Khan, and joining me, Shahzad Chaudhry. We are going to take this discussion further and develop onto the new points that are coming into light. We are also going to discuss the international posturing. Where does this act put India? Where do we see the future go towards?
Absolutely, yeah. And Dr. Talat, I'm going to involve you real quick here that we just learned that India once again has actually opened fire on the innocent civilians, and they did the same thing on the recent attack in the darkness of night on Pakistan. How would you comment on that? Are they like desperate right now at the moment because they don't know what to do?
When we talk of fight on LOC, normally when Indians, they're confronted with such situation, they fire at civilians in along the line of control. So there's a jeopardy when and there's a kind of concern for us, who are facing Indian Army on line of control, and what is the concern is that on both sides of line of control are Kashmiris. I have been serving along line of control, and I know for sure that when they fire at civilian targets. They fire on villages in which innocent civilians, women, children are martyred. So that is what is the, and when we respond, so we also are concerned that alongside military targets, there is a possibility of collateral damage to civilian population across line of control, which is again our people. So this is this is what they play for. We are concerned about civilian population on both sides of line of control, but maybe Indians are not, because they do not feel that heat for the people along line of control. So one thing is very clear, that whenever you find such escalation or such desperation, Indian would, this is their tactics. They would definitely target civilian, because they think that it creates a kind of concern in civilian population against Pakistan's role or against armed forces. So it's not like that. I'm the first-hand observer of situation where when we have fire alongside line of control, the civilian population is also very dynamic, and they're very energetic, and they are always with armed forces of Pakistan fighting. They and normally it is a customary that people in such situations leave villages. In most cases, people, they refuse to leave villages, and normally morale is very high. I last night checked with somebody in along line of control. They said people in Azad Kashmir, people in along all the line of control are in very boldly facing this situation, and they are standing with armed forces of Pakistan.
Well, this brings me to my question, Dr. Saab. As you mentioned that whenever a conflict goes on, because Pakistan-India border is one of the most sensitive in this area, in this region of South Asia, we are talking about two nations, one of them being us, Pakistan, always taking a front-footed approach towards peace and regional stability. What we are more interested in knowing, and I think it would be very important to let our viewers in on something, that this conflict is between the Indian ideology of the Hindutva state that they want to establish and the warmongering that they are doing in order to establish their hegemonic ideology. Now, first of all, what I would where I would like to go with this question is Major General retired Raza Muhammad Saab, former ambassador. Sir, when we talk about Indian Army faces defeat at the line of control. Cowardly Indian Army starts shelling on civilian areas. As we move forward into the advancement of this conflict, what we are seeing is that civilian populations are being targeted.
That's right. Once again, folks, this is another cowardly act. Civilian populations targeted in Hajira, forward Kahuta sectors, and civilian populations are being targeted. 5 martyrs and 7 injured so far by Indian unprovoked firings. 5 martyred and 7 injured by Indian Army attack. This is a breaking news that just came in. 5 martyred and 7 injured. These are the civilians, the innocent civilians. Pretty much India is acting like a mad animal at the moment, and they are attacking and they are actually targeting the civilian population of Pakistan right now. Pakistan Army actively responding to enemy's aggression, and Indian Pakistani Army is once again actively responding to enemy's aggression.
And with this question, I would like to go towards Major General retired Raza Muhammad Saab. Sir, whenever we see a round of aggression from the Indian side, they first target civilian infrastructure, kill innocent civilians, and then they go about claiming that they have killed militants. Now, what we don't see is proof of actual militants and terrorists being killed in these attacks. What we see is that even the international media quotes that this was a civilian infrastructure that was attacked and civilians lost their lives. When would India be held accountable?
Thank you so much. I'll begin from the start with the beginning of your question. First of all, when it comes to the targeting of civilians, whether it is India and even Israel, they have the same ideology. They do not actually care for the humanity. And that is how the India is targeting the civilians. Number 2, Pakistan has a moral consideration, and Pakistan has never targeted civilians. Even now, in retaliation, Pakistan is destroying their posts, and it is purely the hard military targets. And last night also, Pakistan has, if I'm not wrong, destroyed more than 7 posts. And when we say post is not a small thing. Post is a hub of all the activity. It has weapons, it has ammunition, it has ration, it has people, and it is communicating and is defending so-called their land, or I would say more appropriately, illegally occupied Indian Kashmir. So who will stop them? I think it is the time has changed. When the United Nations was created, there were 5 permanent members who had the weapons of mass destruction or the nuclear ability. Now it is about 7 or 11. Number 2, the effect of the international institutions has eroded a bit. So who is going to stop? Number 1, United Nations Security Council is still relevant if they pass a resolution. Number 2, the bigger powers like United States, which is their strategic partner, is the country which can actually harness them or which can tell them to stop this and do not harm the civilians. Pakistan is only replying in such terms in which it is targeting the military or the hardcore, so to say, Indian posts of the armed forces or armed forces locations. No civilians have been harmed so far. Thank you.
When we talk about both of these armies posturing against each other, how would you compare Pakistan Army versus Indian Army?
I don't have to praise our army without proofs. I have the manifestation of this seen by the whole world in last 5 6 days, right from the 6th 7th May night till today. Pakistan Army, Pakistan Air Force has done extremely well. Pakistan Air Force downed their aircrafts while staying within own limits. Pakistan Army Air Defense, Pakistan Army has shot down their 35 drones. Uh, there were casualties, about five loss of the life, but unfortunately, but no serious damage to military installations or some other place. And last but not the least, as you were mentioning now, Pakistan Army is giving a befitting response on the line of control. It is a very measured. Some people may be saying, I've heard few people, I have seen it on the social media, perhaps people are getting a little impatient why Pakistan is not reacting. Pakistan is doing a wonderful job. When you do it this way, you do it at your own time of choosing. You are not being pressurized. If you go into reactionary mode, then you can commit the mistakes. As the India is doing, they acted, then reacting, then still they are frustrated and doing so many other things and so committing so many other mistakes. So Pakistan Army, Pakistan Armed Forces, Pakistan people are doing wonderful. I just want to add one thing which you have not asked me. It is about the media. There was a discussion going on about the Indian media and comparison with the Pakistani media. I would love to state that Pakistani media is doing a wonderful job, a very mature job. All the discussants who come on our programs, the anchors who steer those discussants, everything is discussed in a very, very logical manner, in a mature manner, and with proofs, with facts and figure. Whereas Indian media's vision is colored, Indian media's projection is colored with the saffron color of the Hindutva. Number two, they have lots of force of throat, sorry to say, lots of abusive language being used by them. Unfortunately, very unparliamentary, so to say, language being used by unethical language used by them. But they do not have proofs, they do not have solid grounds. So,
So
this is
journalism is
what
a
I
duty. I'm sorry I'm interrupting you over here, but journalism is a duty that requires you to uphold the basic ideology of human decency and morality. And that is what Pakistani journalism is all about. That is what our press is all about. Now, with this, I would like your comment on this fact when we are discussing about, just a short comment because we're a little short on time and we have to move on to our next guest with the questions my colleague has over here. We are seeing Indian Army versus Pakistan Army and the states and the structure, two structures basically going up against each other. Pakistani structure that is always talking about peace and a very calculated, measured response. And then we've got Indian Army. And on social media, we are also seeing the mindset of an average Indian person who is happy at killing of 3-year-old girls and 5-year-old boy who lost their lives in the first round of attacks conducted by India. So when we talk about basic human decency, how is the world viewing Pakistan Army versus Indian Army?
I think you must have seen the media, you must have seen the social media, you must have seen it on the X, all around. Alhamdulillah, Pakistan is being praised for its measured and very, very mature acts and replies. And international media, international leadership is praising it, international press is praising it. And I agree with you that Pakistani journalism is doing a wonderful job. We are all prepared. Pakistan is prepared. Pakistani nation is prepared for any kind of aggression. But we are also reserving our right of reacting at the time and place of own choosing and how much of the lethality is going to be used. Thank you.
Thank you, Major General Retired Raza Mohammed Saab. Thank you for your candid review and analysis.
Right. Now, Dr. Talat, I'm going to ask you real quick something that we have seen this morning. There were like 35 drones so far. They have entered in the Pakistani airspace from India, Israeli-made drones. One thing is that they're pretty much coming like a fruit flies here. This is very shocking to me and to the entire nation as well. And also, the second thing is that I'm glad that General Saab just pointed out about the media. The media is, Indian media is I would really not like to use the word pathetic, but it is pathetic at the moment. You know, what they are doing right now is they're basically I think what they're doing is by sending all these drones and by telling their media to come up with all the false stuff that you can, I think they are scared because DGISPR has already said our time is about to come and we will give you an answer. Do you think they are desperate and scared at the moment?
Thank you. You mentioned about drone attacks. I hope since there is a question in social media in Pakistan that wherever these drones let enter in Pakistan. So there's something technical about it, and I just want to make a point that we should not worry about what happened because obstructing those drones at a very high level was not possible, and it was actually giving positions of our installations. So it was very technically handled, and they were let come inside, and they were targeted, and all 35 drones were destroyed, which speaks of professionalism of our air defense elements, vigilantly deployed all along borders in Pakistan. So, and of course, as General Sahab has also said, that we also have a point that we will definitely do it at the point of our choosing and time of our choosing and by means of our choosing. Regarding media, I just was watching your news. So when you see Indian media or Indian government, Indian officials, are actually concerned about many websites, many YouTube channels, many social media outlets. So they're trying to block. For example, they have also requested X to block certain number of couple of thousand posts accounts. So that actually reflects their desperation. So why would, if I'm on the right path, if I'm right, so why should I ask people to hide things? What is there to hide? So I think Indian government and Indian officials are handling the media in a manner that is not expected of a government of a stature of India. So it is going to have a very negative fallout on India. And on the other side, as we mentioned, that Pakistani media has been very responsible. They was responsible. Though in social media in Pakistan also, there's some fake news, and but there's still a lot of warnings are given by the social media user that don't use fake news and don't speculate too much, and let military do what they're doing, and let them explain how they're doing and what is their plan of action, and let's trust and let's believe in our armed forces. They're quite capable of doing it. They're quite capable of handling it. Regarding media, I think so far Pakistan media and social media are responsible, and as we mentioned that not only Indian social media but Indian mainstream media is so abusive and unethical. They have actually shown their true color, and when we look at the media, which is supposed to be giving a true picture of their society, their governance, and their handling of minorities and various other issues. So I think their media is set to be partner to Hindutva brigade that is working in India.
Right, Dr. Saab, real quick, I'm going to ask you something. The French newspaper Monde today said that Indian Air Force was not, it was lack of their skills. That's why, the Rafales were shot down by Pakistan Air Force. Pakistan Air Force pilots are phenomenal in terms of their skills. There is no doubt on that. They also said that Pakistan is capable of handling any sort of aggression because they have the latest fighter jets, the Chinese and French. How would you comment on that?
First of all, I'm also a former military officer. Let me say with confidence that the professionalism and the skillfulness that I've seen in the Air Force, Pakistan Air Force, is unmatchable in the world. They're the best people on earth, in our Air Force. I was just mentioning to somebody that it's not a machine; it is the man on machine who will matter in the event of war. And they have always done so wonderful that we were always proud of our Air Force, and in 2019 they also proved that. In 1965 they proved that, and even now they have proved that they are the best in the world. And I think we can sleep, peacefully with such Air Force in our country.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Talat, for sharing your time and sharing your views with us. So, folks, this is where we are at right now. We have an enemy who is actually targeting the civilians. Did the same thing this morning. This transmission is still going on. We'll be back after the news and come up with more stuff.